joining us. And I guess first I'll introduce myself. My name is Lisa Duke. I'm with Simplified Technology Solutions. We're an IBM Lotus or ICS or whatever IBM is calling us partner based out of Atlanta, Georgia. Most of our direct clients are in the Southeast, but we do get a lot of business via referrals, so we get to this part of the world from time to time. Our history has always been that it's Domino, the real true collaboration. Primarily administration. We're doing a lot of upgrades, DAOS implementations, things like that, but have a development history as well. We also do same time connections. But we're definitely seeing this social thing is a real trend, and it seems to be happening not just inside of IBM, but in the real world as well. And we really feel like, both for us as partners and for any customer, admin, development folks working within organizations, we see this as something that I think is getting more and more important for us to position ourselves. We've had a really interesting conversation. Those of you that have been around the Lotus community for a while probably know Alan Klofsky, who's now at Social Text. And we had a really interesting conversation about what a great fit our skills as collaboration people are for the social stuff. It's really the same idea, especially within the organization, this idea of we're going to take a software tool and use it to make people more efficient, more effective, enable communication. So it's the same idea, may or may not be the same software. Probably going to put David on the spot and ask him about that.
There's going to be some of both.
Yep, absolutely. But I'm going to let the panel introduce themselves. I do have a couple of warm-up questions, but I want to make sure that you guys are getting out of this session whatever you kind of had in mind, whatever questions you have. So once we get rolling, feel free to raise your hand, ask questions, and we'll put them to our panel. So with that, Bernie, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Sure. I think most of you know who I am, I think. I'm with Macy Technology, company down in Chicago. And as far as social is concerned, I'm a business partner, but I'll be honest with you, I'm also a Microsoft business partner and Google and LinkedIn.
We're going to have to ask you to leave.
Oh, yeah. He's getting all the But to be honest, the way I look at it is, social is a world. It is not yourself. But that being said, what's the best tool out there to handle it? What's the best way to integrate these pieces? I think that's where we should be at. Our knowledge base can handle that. So that's where I'm at. I do speak a lot, as you can see. I talk a lot, but you can see me online, see me offline, whatever. That's what I do.
Fantastic. Carlos?
My name is Carlos Costas. I'm with Rock Team and Lotus Education Online. We're an IBM business partner, award-winning training center for ICS software, and we're doing a lot of client work in the social media and technology side now. So I'm happy to share that experience as well.
I'm David Bai. I'm the sales executive for Nelson Domino at IBM. I mentioned in my keynote session that I've actually only been here 5 years. Before that, I spent 15 years, as many of you and Carlos and Bonnie on, as a business partner. But some of that time spent doing Microsoft stuff also, so I love my music.
You're not really as well.
Yeah.
Fantastic. All right, so I'm actually going to put Dave on the hot seat right away because this is the question that everybody wants to know. All right, we hear this social thing, and we're kind of getting that it's not going to go away. It's like it's going to be a real thing. Does that mean we have to uninstall Domino and install Connections? Can we be social and still do Domino?
Absolutely not. And that's, I'm sorry. Absolutely you don't have to uninstall those in Domino.
Yeah, now you really have to leave.
Yeah, got tripped up in your word. You absolutely don't have to uninstall Notes in Domino. Any of you have seen somebody present or ever seen me present to a customer, I'm showing how social is part of the Notes in Domino world every chance that I get, because it's not going to be a flip the switch overnight revolution thing where we all go from living in our inboxes to living in Connections. It's going to be we don't do it internally. Marcy or any of the other IBM person in the room can tell you, we're bouncing back and forth. And I would say we're 3 to 5 years ahead of most of our customers. Most of our customers are just getting started. And that's one of the challenges that we have of trying to be thought leaders is there's a saying, there's a difference between being out in front of the parade and walking down the street by yourself. Sometimes it feels like we're doing the former, or the latter, not the former. But and Notes and Dom is absolutely part of social, and you're going to hear more about it in the fall as we start to talk more about social business and how it is integrated, how it's, you know, a bridge, stepping stone, whatever you want to call it. It's the launching point, because the reality is we all still live in our inboxes and in our applications that you guys all have and have written and developed and maintained, and that's not going to change overnight.
All right, so now that we know we're going to keep our jobs, we can all relax a little. That's good. That's good news. Yeah, exactly, exactly. So let me ask, well, and one thing I wanted to add to what you said is that's very much a theme that I hear, and I think one of the competitive advantages that IBM has over some of the solutions in the market is that IBM really has that focus of we're going to meet you where you are. If you're living in your inbox, if you're living in Portal, we're going to pull our pieces together there. And I think that makes a lot of sense versus having to add another monitor because everybody's trying to put the inbox on one side and the competing solution on the other side. So I think that's good for all of us. So let's see. Carlos, how has, I don't know if you have an answer to this, but if not, you can always pass. How has your organization used external social media? So IBM talks a lot about connections and sort of within the organization, but part of this social conversation is external as well. How has your company used external social media for business purposes?
So that's a great question. We've adopted social externally at the ROC team and Lowe's Education Online to push our education in Lowe's, and it's been pretty successful. So as a B2B organization, and from this morning's presentation from David Cohen, a lot of, especially our customers, are starting to focus in on LinkedIn as a B2B marketing strategy. And that's one way of putting your organization, making them visible on the radar. And with LinkedIn, there's various channels you can do that. And we're also offering all of our training, open enrollment training, and all the ICS training over LinkedIn and our Facebook page. Now, Facebook, you know, that's more of a B2C environment. Right? We all agree there, right? It's more of a consumer-based environment where LinkedIn's more appropriate for organization transactions. So we've had a 30% uptick in business from just being visible and social. But it takes manpower, it takes resources, it takes an understanding of the engagement model for social media. It takes and being available and spending about 8 hours to 16 hours of time to put some fuel in the fire there. That helps.
So has your organization done some things with external social media as well? How has that helped your business?
Well, definitely we have. And like I said, I don't look at social as being I would say, a brand-centric or maybe a company-centric product or solution, whatever. It is really an integration of multiple sources pulling together. What we bring to the table, however, oh, hi there. Come on. Questions he's got I look at the situation in the social media is what is the easiest way for us as administrators, as developers, to bring that experience on a single pane to them. That's really much more important than I'm trying to pick this one, and this one. I believe the integration is where the whole pieces come in. To come right to the point, what have we done using social media, social collaboration? What have we done in our organization to leverage it? I would have to say that Lowe's Live, the way you can do scheduling, meetings and so on, I think that's fantastic. We have templates. Right now we have a template for putting meetings together, webinars. Now, I just throw that template out there. Everybody uses that. We all know what we're supposed to do. So those are social collaboration tools, but our partners are not just internal. Our partner external people. I gotta have people who comes in from other, people that use it. I just use them. You know what? Join my group in here. Join my little community in there. They do their thing. They never knew what it was. To them, it doesn't matter. What does that make for them? What it is, IBM product, or Microsoft product, or LinkedIn product. They don't care. But you know what? Make my life easier because I'm able to use that tool, which I know the other guys don't provide. It's right here in front of me. And those are the things I'm trying to bring the message out. It doesn't matter what platform it is. The platform, the end users don't care. It's the task you can do with it is what makes the difference.
That makes sense. And I definitely think the smaller the company, the greater percentage of your time you spend talking outside of the business. being able to discover skills within a very small company is usually just a matter of shouting at Darren in our company. So the ability to, find profiles and things like the case studies that you guys always give with IBM is not as relevant for smaller organizations, but definitely being able to reach out to customers, partners, vendors. We've seen that to be really, really useful to be able to find the right people on LinkedIn. We use LinkedIn a ton for promoting user group events like this. We actually will go and search and say, show me everyone in Nashville, Tennessee that has the word Lotus somewhere in their profile, and really try to do some outreach because not everybody is on Planet Lotus and following the blog. So we use those tools all the time to reach out. And of course, the hope is that some of those folks that attend those things will get value out of it and be customers down the road. So do we have any questions from the audience?
Can you pursue this just a little bit more about large enterprises versus small businesses? Because it sounds like the profiles is very strategic for a large business and not important for a small business. But what about other aspects of social networking that are important for small businesses versus large enterprises?
That's interesting. And are you more thinking in terms of what tools, or how do we use connections if we're a smaller company?
Seems to me that connections would have an appeal for a large enterprise, maybe not as much of an appeal for a small business, but is this true or not?
This is exactly what I know we've been talking about internally is, okay, I totally understand how this is useful for IBM, but how do I translate that down to my customers and to my company? So I know when we rolled out connections internally, we found microblogging to be very useful because, even if there's just a few of you, a lot of times our people are on site, whether they're sales or technical. So we found that very useful. We loved the bookmarks, being able to, what used to be called dog ears, being able to save file links and be able to find URLs, sharing things within the organization. So do you guys have any examples from working with customers, especially big market, small business, of, okay, I'm not IBM, how is connections useful and relevant to me?
You're right about the profile and expertise location as being more of a upper mid-market enterprise type of use case. The interesting thing, though, is a profile search is this jumping off point for a lot of different things. So if I go to do a profile search and I pop up the business card, you all know the business card, you hover over a name, and I get, first thing I look for is online status, because we're addicted at the same time at IBM, right? Is, can I just chat with that person right now? Okay, they're not online. I'm on a plane or wherever, I'm not available. The next thing I go to is files, because I will go and see what content that person's put in their connections files. Okay, I can't get to Carlos. What's Carlos posted? Because a lot of the time I'm looking for the most current product roadmap, or the most current strategy presentation. And if I can't ask the question, I can review the content. So to me, right behind profiles as a killer use case for connections is files. Because content sharing, no matter what size you are, whether you're the 20, 25 people that were working on Watson, or you're a 20, 25 person company, you've got to get the content out of the inbox. Because I can't search the attachments that are in your inbox. I'll never be able to do that. It's got to go somewhere else.
And we internally have found files really useful. We actually use Quicker for that, and we've set up a template place that we copy over and over and over as we add new clients or potential clients, and we'll put security on them so that owners of the company and the people assigned to that account can see the relevant information, but not everybody in the organization has our complete list of all our contracts and our rates and all of our customers. So that's been very useful.
So
We're not
you
specifically
have a
using
place
connections
for
for
each
it.
customer?
Yep, we
Okay.
do. And so we'll put in the contract, the proposals. We also put in the proof of entitlement that IBM sends. It's kind of your IBM receipt for software, because we find usually when a client is having an emergency and tries to call IBM for support, they have, they got the email, but they never really knew what it was, and they have no idea where it is now. And so for us to be able to say, you bought it from us, we have it. That's
It's like
been
when
a
I take
huge.
something back to Lowe's, they're like, none of your receipt, no problem.
Yeah,
Go with credit
exactly.
card.
Yeah, exactly. So that's been really made us look really good. And it also helps close the loop, because some of our competitors have had issues where something happened, the order didn't get processed all the way through. So it's our proof that we didn't take all the money. We did remit some of it back through the distributor to IBM, so that's been useful for us as well.
Calculate your software.
Yeah, and we actually have someone who has just joined us. So Martin, can you give us a little bit of your background?
Sure.